everyone, this is Prachi and today I will talk about books and the movies based on them. So today I will be talking about movies based on the books, and I will rate the movies and the books based on how well it did as compared to the book. So if I have given a book a 3 and the movie is at par with the book, then I will give the movie a 3 as well, irrespective of the fact how well a movie was as a whole. So let's get started. The first book is The Fault in Our Stars. This is a really close to my heart book. This is one of the books that got me into reading, and one of the books that I have given a 5-star on Goodreads. I won't go too much into detail about the story because I think everyone by now knows what the story is. It's about a girl who has cancer, who falls in love with a boy who has cancer as well. And I was so fortunate enough to read it before the movie came. Otherwise, I would have just watched the movie without reading this masterpiece. The movie was surprisingly extremely well made. Obviously, the book is more elaborate and the movie cannot encompass everything, but the makers did an amazing job in making a coherent train of events and wrapping it up in a way that the viewer feels invested. Both the actors did an amazing job. They did absolute justice to the characters of Hazel and Gus. I would have called it perfect if at the end, spoiler alert, when Hazel reads the letter which Gus had written to the author, in the actual book, the letter ends by Gus saying, "I like my choices, I hope she likes hers." To which Hazel says, "I do, Augustus, I do." But in the movie, the makers added, "Okay, Hazel Grace," to which Hazel says, "Okay." Now, even though it was their thing, what the directors forgot was that the letter she was reading wasn't directed to her. It was, in fact, Gus writing a letter to Peter, the author, wanting him to help him eulogize Hazel. So, in fact, it wasn't for Hazel at all. Apart from this tiny detail, it was a delight to watch. So if I'm giving 5 stars to the book, I will give a 4.5 to the movie. The next book is The Boy in the Striped Pajamas. It's again one of the books that I've given 5 stars to. I absolutely love it. It's an extremely well thought story about friendship. It's a story set in the time of World War II when a 9-year-old Bruno has so many questions, and one of them is that who are all these people in the striped pajamas on the other side of the fence? On asking about this to all the adults in his life, he gets no answer and he decides that the best thing to do is go and find out himself. And that is how he befriends a boy who shares his birthday, a boy in the striped pajamas. If you're struggling with the next book to read, you should definitely read this one. Now let's talk about the movie. The movie really tried to capture the essence of the book and tried to recreate the atmosphere the book created, but failed badly. If you watch the movie without reading the book, you might find it okay, but then again, if you're watching without reading the book, you're missing out on a lot. The movie loses a lot of incidents that were crucial to the whole story. And even though if you let some instances go, what the movie failed was to make the audience feel invested in the movie. So if I'm giving this book a 5, I would give the movie a 3. The next book is The Perks of Being a Wallflower. Now, all these books that I'm sharing are really well-written books and are my personal favorite. Perks of Being a Wallflower is a story about a 15-year-old boy who is an introvert, and he's in the most chaotic time of his life. The time that we've all been through, the high school era. Charlie, the protagonist, has entered high school, and when his classmates are having their first dates, he finds himself standing alone at a party like a wallflower. He befriends his seniors and learns and explores new and baffling things in life, along with learning a great deal about himself. This book is about a young adult's journey through mental health, self-discovery, friendship, and understanding his past. The movie did a tremendous job. The makers perfectly captured the book for the screen. I think that it's mostly because the writer of the book is also the director of the movie. It had all the right incidents to hold the viewer in place, and I would 100% recommend you to watch the movie, even if you haven't read the book or don't want to. No, I'm kidding. I think you should read the book. I give this book a 4 and the movie a 4 as well. It was just perfect. It was at par with the book. The next is The Time Traveler's Wife. This is hands down the best 518-page book that I've read. I love it. Everything, the plot, the theme, the story, everything was just so beautifully done. This is a story about Henry, a time traveler, and his wife Claire. Now, when you hear time travel, most of you must be visualizing a time machine and a guy from the future. It's nothing like that at all. Henry has a condition, a medical condition, where he just hops back and forward in time. The book considers time to be sliced up in lines. So if the present Henry goes back in time, there is already a Henry whose present this Henry has gone to. And that is essentially how Henry meets Claire. Claire meets Henry the first time when she is 8 or 9 and Henry is in his 40s. But Henry meets Claire the first time when both of them are in their 20s. It's not as confusing as it seems. It's actually really well written. You will never find yourself being confused as to how old is who. The movie, on the other hand, strips away everything. Now, obviously, we have talked about that books are more elaborate and you can't just show everything on the screen. But after reading the book, I just couldn't connect to the movie. Rachel McAdams has done a tremendous job, but even she couldn't save it. If you watch the movie and you like it, that's great. Maybe you haven't read the book. I just did not like it. So the book for me is a 5-star and the movie is a 2. So these were some of the movies that were based on books, and if you have some other books versus movie recommendation, please let me know. I would love to go through them, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye.